How often should older people really be having sex? Is there a magic number for happiness, health, or connection? You might be surprised by what the science actually says. Stay with me until the end, and I'll share a little-known fact that could completely change how you view intimacy at this stage of life. You know, society often brushes off the idea of older people having active sex lives, as if it's something we're supposed to outgrow. But let me tell you, intimacy doesn't have an expiration date. In fact, studies are proving that sexual activity later in life has profound benefits for both the mind and body. Yet there's a common question so many of us have. How much is normal or healthy? Should you be having sex weekly, monthly, or only when the mood strikes? Let's dive into the research, bust some myths, and uncover the truth about how often older people should be having sex. First off, let's talk about why it's so important to maintain intimacy as we age. We've all heard those myths. You get too old for sex, it's just not the same anymore. But in reality, the benefits of sex don't dwindle as we get older. They actually grow in some areas of life. I can promise you, keeping an active sex life into your later years does wonders for both your physical and mental well-being. To start, let's talk about the physical benefits of sex. Regular sex can help reduce your risk of heart disease. Research shows that sexual activity can function like exercise by raising your heart rate and promoting blood circulation. Now, I'm not saying it can replace a gym workout, but keeping your cardiovascular system healthy through intimate activity does count toward your overall well-being. Also, it promotes the release of endorphins, the feel-good chemicals in the brain that can lower stress, reduce pain, and improve your mood. And let's not forget about sleep. Many older adults suffer from sleep issues, especially as we age. But a solid sexual connection, like physical intimacy, releases oxytocin and promotes relaxation. It helps manage feelings of anxiety, which can otherwise keep you tossing and turning at night. Whether it's your partner's touch or simply the act of cuddling, it's going to help release the tension built up in your muscles and help you rest soundly. But perhaps one of the most profound benefits is the improvement in your mental health. So much of what we experience as we grow older revolves around overcoming anxiety, isolation, and depression. Studies show that older adults who are sexually active often experience lower rates of depression and anxiety. There's something about feeling wanted and connected, and the intimacy that comes from a fulfilling sexual relationship helps remind us that we're still alive, still vibrant, still relevant. What about cognitive health? Now, you may have heard people say things like, "There's a memory linked to sex," or "Sex is good for your mind," and it turns out they were right. Studies have suggested that sexual activity actually stimulates certain parts of the brain. Engaging in physical intimacy can strengthen neural connections, and in turn, may help stave off conditions like Alzheimer's and other age-related cognitive decline. Essentially, your brain is being exercised, giving you both cognitive and emotional clarity. Now, we all know about the emotional benefits. Physical closeness with your partner boosts your feelings of connectedness. This isn't just about romance. It's about knowing that someone out there feels you are special, that someone cares for you and desires you. The emotional fulfillment of having an intimate relationship with your partner offers incredible support, especially as life can become more challenging with age. You don't just feel connected physically, but emotionally, spiritually even, because sex is an extension of your trust and love for one another. That connection over time can transform into a sense of emotional well-being and growth. All right, we're getting to the meat of the question. How much sex should I be having? And I know you're probably expecting some firm, concrete answer, right? Right. Well, here's the reality. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to how often older people should be having sex. What matters more than the frequency is how connected you feel with your partner and how fulfilling the experience is for both of you. But that said, let's dig into the research for some guidance. On this one key thing, we have to keep in mind that there are studies, like those conducted by the National Library of Medicine, showing a consistent relationship between regular sex and better overall health outcomes. A study on older adults ages 65 and up found that those who had sex once a week were more likely to report being happier and more satisfied with their overall lives, including their relationships. But, and this is important, it's not the number of times a week, but the experience itself that counts the most. While weekly sex seems like a happy medium, the studies also show that couples who have sex less frequently still report being very satisfied emotionally and physically. This gets to the heart of why there isn't really a perfect number. You have to understand what works for you. Some couples may feel fulfilled with monthly intimacy. Others may prefer to keep that connection alive with more frequent touch and closeness, or even casual intimate moments of affection without full-blown intercourse. And here's something fascinating. As people age, many report that sex often becomes less about performance and more about emotional connection and sharing love. When you strip away the pressure of performing, which many of us experience in our youth, sex can transform into something much deeper. This mindset shift has been shown to improve relationship satisfaction and increase frequency for some couples, as intimacy isn't just about satisfying a certain quota, but rather connecting and simply enjoying the moment. Additionally, health plays an essential part in how often you'll be up for it. Sex may slow down with things like joint pain, fatigue, or low energy, but that doesn't mean it needs to stop altogether. In fact, moderate sexual activity can actually combat these symptoms by increasing blood flow, improving flexibility, and even increasing energy levels over time. And if there are certain medical conditions at play, talking to your doctor about sexual activity is crucial. Some conditions may require special accommodations, but that shouldn't be a reason to give up on intimacy. Sex can still happen, just in a way that suits your individual health and comfort. But let me remind you again, no matter how frequently it happens, what's most important is that you enjoy it. At this stage in life, there's no rush to keep up with other people's ideas of what's normal. If you're happy with your sexual activity, whether it's once a week, once a month, or simply whenever you and your partner feel close, that's all that truly matters. In the end, it really is about feeling emotionally, mentally, and physically fulfilled with your partner, not about some societal expectation on frequency. The key here is that sex should remain a source of joy, connection, and health. As we've already talked about, sex is essential for both physical and emotional well-being. But the reality is that for many older adults, barriers can get in the way. Health issues, feelings of self-consciousness, and even lifestyle factors can all create challenges to staying intimate. So let's break them down and talk about how we can overcome them. These hurdles, health concerns, and mobility issues are some of the most common obstacles older adults face. Health challenges such as mobility issues like arthritis, chronic pain, or even just being less physically flexible can make physical intimacy more difficult. If you're experiencing these challenges, first of all, don't be discouraged. There are ways to work around them. Positioning becomes key here. Try different sex positions that require less movement or offer more comfort, like side-by-side or sitting positions. Many people find that changing the angle, adding pillows for support, or finding a position that doesn't stress joints or muscles helps improve comfort without sacrificing intimacy. There's no need to power through positions that don't feel good. Instead, focus on finding alternatives that still allow you to be close and intimate. It's also worth noting that many people, especially women, experience dryness as they age, often due to hormonal changes or menopause. If this is affecting your sexual pleasure, there are many products available, from lubricants to vaginal moisturizers, that can make sex more comfortable. Again, don't be shy about exploring these solutions and discussing them with your partner. Mental and emotional barriers. In addition to the physical barriers, emotional and mental roadblocks can make it harder to connect intimately. Aging sometimes brings about changes in body image, self-esteem, and anxiety around intimacy. These feelings can sometimes prevent you from feeling confident or motivated to initiate sexual activity. It's common to feel like, maybe I'm not attractive anymore, or what if I'm not satisfying my partner? To work through this, open communication is paramount. Talk openly with your partner about your feelings, and trust me, you may be surprised by how they feel about you. A partner who values and loves you is focused on your connection, not the flaws you think you have. In fact, many people report feeling more confident and connected during sex in later years because both partners have learned to embrace vulnerability. There's a wonderful intimacy that comes with sharing your thoughts, fears, and desires. Sometimes just talking openly can eliminate anxiety, create emotional closeness, and make the act of intimacy that much more meaningful. Psychological barriers and external stress. It's also easy for the stresses of daily life, like caring for a partner or managing other responsibilities, to get in the way of having sex. Many older adults face feelings of depression or isolation. If you're feeling mentally drained, it's natural that sex may not be at the forefront of your mind. Overcoming these feelings requires a mix of internal work and external support. If you're experiencing ongoing sadness, anxiety, or other psychological burdens, speaking to a therapist or counselor may help. It can free you up to enjoy your intimate moments more freely without the weight of past stress. Don't forget, you are worthy of pleasure and you deserve connection, no matter where you are in life. Now let's delve into something often overlooked, the powerful emotional side of intimacy. Sex for older adults isn't just about physical pleasure. It's a profound expression of love, care, and connection with a partner. We cannot underestimate how important emotional intimacy is to our overall well-being. The effects on our self-esteem and sense of belonging are massive. As we age, many of us experience various shifts in relationships, either due to circumstances, health, or simply the life changes we've experienced. The need for physical closeness can deepen as we navigate these challenges. So, let's talk about what emotional intimacy does and how it enriches our lives. Trust and connection. In your earlier years, sex might have been about passion, appearance, or excitement. But as you get older, intimacy can become an emotional anchor. One of the most beautiful parts of older age is knowing who you are and feeling comfortable in your skin. The best intimacy at this point is about trust, connection, and truly understanding one another mentally and emotionally. This is when sexual intimacy transcends just physical satisfaction and becomes an expression of the love and affection you have for one another. You're not worrying about impressing anyone or performing. You're simply enjoying the company of someone you've chosen to share your life with. In fact, many people say that sex in later years can be deeper because it focuses on sharing moments of vulnerability and emotional closeness with someone you love. There's something so special about knowing each other intimately, not just in a physical sense, but emotionally and spiritually too. Those little things like holding hands, looking into your partner's eyes, or enjoying peaceful moments together before intimacy create powerful bonds that contribute to a more joyful and intimate experience. Love and vulnerability. It's also been shown that older adults who maintain a sex life have stronger emotional bonds. These couples report a greater sense of security and a stronger, lasting relationship, something that contributes not just to their romantic life, but also to their overall happiness and life satisfaction. And let's talk about something else incredibly important: feeling desired. We all want to feel like we're wanted no matter our age. Physical intimacy keeps the spark alive, yes, but it's that desire, that affectionate touch, that reaffirms you're still valued. Studies show that people in long-term relationships tend to experience stronger bonds when intimacy and affection are nurtured regularly. Even if sexual activity changes, moments of affection, like kissing, cuddling, and gentle touching, often strengthen emotional closeness. It's these little acts of love that convey deep feelings of being wanted and cared for, and that's what sustains emotional closeness long into older years. Connection beyond sex. Lastly, don't think that intimacy has to only look one way. Some older adults who no longer have a traditional sexual connection still report incredibly fulfilling relationships simply by maintaining close, loving touch or sharing romantic moments. What's truly vital is maintaining the emotional connection, whether it's through sex, hugging, or spending time together. That connection is what feeds the heart, supports well-being, and promotes a healthy, active life. In other words, age is no barrier to what intimacy can bring to your life. It doesn't matter if it's frequent or infrequent. The emotional power of physical touch and love never dies. There are many ways to keep your connection alive, and no matter what stage of life you're in, you absolutely deserve to feel that closeness, pleasure, and emotional fulfillment. Embrace your intimacy. So here we are, understanding how important it is to stay connected, how often to engage in intimacy, and how we can work through challenges. But the most important message I want to leave with you today is this: embrace your intimacy in later years. Age should never diminish your ability to have meaningful, loving, and fulfilling sexual experiences. Instead, it's a time to redefine what intimacy means to you, reframe your expectations, and forget about any societal pressures to be youthful or as active as you were when you were younger. This is your time, your life. You get to define your own standards of intimacy, and that's something to embrace. When you take the pressure off trying to perform like younger generations, you open the door to intimacy that feels more authentic and genuine. The beauty of this stage in life is that you're no longer concerned with comparison or perfection, but with the authenticity and connection that enriches your relationship. It's about feeling joy, closeness, and warmth with your partner. Communicate openly. That brings us to another crucial point. Never be afraid to communicate. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that you need to be what your partner expects you to be sexually. But the truth is, honest, open communication only deepens intimacy. Talk openly with your partner about what feels good, what doesn't, or if there's anything you'd like to try. Share how you're feeling physically and emotionally. When both partners are tuned into each other's needs, intimacy flows more naturally and with greater depth. As we get older, our bodies inevitably change, and so too does our relationship to intimacy. But those changes don't have to be feared. They're simply a new chapter. In fact, some older adults say they've never had a better sex life than now, simply because they've reached a level of mutual understanding and comfort that fosters intimacy without self-judgment. It can actually become more fulfilling because it's not about impressing or rushing, it's about connection. Healthy aging and self-care. Another important aspect of maintaining intimacy is caring for yourself, both physically and mentally. Regular exercise and a balanced diet play an essential role in maintaining sexual health. Staying active helps improve flexibility and energy levels, which positively impacts your sex life. Along with eating nutritious foods, doing strength training or low-impact exercises like swimming or yoga can keep the body agile and in a state where you feel good physically, emotionally, and sexually. Additionally, mental wellness is just as important. Sex doesn't have to be frequent to be fulfilling. What matters is that it happens when it feels right, and that it is something you and your partner genuinely enjoy. Meditate, practice mindfulness, or engage in activities that help lower stress. The less stress you carry, the more open you'll be to intimacy, and the closer you'll feel to your partner. It's also essential to acknowledge and celebrate the changes that come with age. Instead of focusing on what's lost, there's power in acceptance and in recognizing your own beauty at every stage of life. Embrace yourself as the wonderful, experienced person you are, and don't let anyone convince you that you're not deserving of a joyful and active sex life. Remember, our sexual energy and confidence evolve in new ways as we grow older, and it can be incredibly fulfilling, both emotionally and physically. The bottom line: keep the spark alive, not because society says you should, but because you and your partner deserve it. Intimacy doesn't stop at a certain age. It evolves, deepens, and enriches your connection in ways that can bring even more satisfaction than ever before. Age should not limit our ability to feel loved and desired. Embrace who you are at this stage in your life and explore what intimacy means for you in the here and now. Whether you have sex once a week, once a month, or simply enjoy moments of affection and closeness, what matters is that you stay engaged, connected, and filled with love and understanding. And most importantly, don't feel pressured by anyone. What's most important is that your intimacy feels meaningful, genuine, and fulfilling to both you and your partner. So, how often should older people be having sex? The answer isn't written in stone, but science and experience agree on this. Stay connected to your partner, communicate openly, and focus on what feels right for you. Intimacy is a gift, not a chore. Whether it's weekly, monthly, or simply whenever the moment feels right, the most important thing is to keep the flame alive in a way that works for you. Share your thoughts. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on intimacy as we age? Leave a comment below, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more candid, age-positive conversations like this. Also, make sure to sign up for the Wise Advice newsletter to get tips, advice, and uplifting content delivered straight to your inbox. Let's keep growing and glowing together.